It's a new week of shows, and Sarah Avampato is back to talk more about jerseys on today's Locked On Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Your Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Oh, hi. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Locked On Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jason JD Hernandez, covering hockey for over a decade, and this episode is brought to you by Bet Online, which has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. Once again, that is Bet Online, which you could check on either your mobile device or your laptop, and check it out today. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit more about jerseys today. Sarah Avampato and I are going to talk for a little bit more. We talked for a long time a few days ago, and it ended up taking about 50 minutes. So I just decided, let's just keep recording, keep talking jerseys. We talked more about our collections this time and brought up a couple of teams and what we think should be their ideas for the reverse retro jersey. I know that a couple have been leaked already. I have a feeling more are going to be leaked during this week as it rolls along. So I have a feeling we'll see some more in the coming days. But in the meantime, we just talked about our respective collections. I show off some more jerseys, and Sarah shows off a particular jersey that I'm actually very jealous of. Let's be honest here. And just a word of caution, just to let you guys know on the video side that yeah, I do cut off for a brief minute there, and the audio does get a little bit distorted, weird. Hopefully you guys can still hear it, but, I'm going to leave it as is when Sarah goes full screen. But it's a beautiful jersey that I want you guys, like, if you're jersey heads, comment on it. Let me know what you guys think of our jersey collections, because me personally, I'm still trying to, actually, I just achieved the 32 for 32. So during next season, whenever I have a crossover with different guests, you'll see my jersey collection as the season goes on. Without much further ado, let's throw it over to myself and Sarah Avampato as we conclude our jersey talk on this edition of Locked On Anaheim Ducks. CCM I'm holding out for just because, like you said, the quality of the CCM jerseys are fantastic, especially the ones on the ice. And to your point, the quality of the Adidas jerseys are far different. I'll go to the ones that you have that I'm a little bit jealous of. You have the Pride Night Kings jersey, which is amazing. And I wish you could show the people on camera this, or maybe I'll vamp for a few minutes while you get it, because I still want to see this. The Pride Night Vancouver Canucks jersey.
Yeah, you go vamp for a minute. I'll go get it because I know where it is.
I will vamp for a hot second. So while she gets that jersey, because it's amazing, I want to remind you that this podcast is free and available across all platforms, including Stitcher, Spotify, Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, among others. Okay, so while she's getting that, what we're talking about is the difference between made in Canada jerseys and the made in Indonesia jerseys. So the made in Indonesia jerseys, the ones that are, like, in general, not the on ice product, they're still high quality. I actually have two jerseys as an example of that, which I'll probably show on another part of this podcast. But the dimples themselves are of a little bit different quality. So, that's what we're going about here. And Sarah, who's now back, she has with her an example of a made in Canada jersey, which, oh my goodness, I'm going to get myself.
Well, now we can't hear you if you're talking, so I guess it's up to me to talk about this. But yeah, this was the Pride jersey that the Canucks did this past year. They very sneakily rolled this out because initially it looked like you were just going to be able to bid on the ones that the guys wore for warm-ups, and those went for frankly absurd amounts of dollars. Even when you do the transition from Canadian dollars to American dollars, they were still very expensive. And then they very quietly, like no fanfare, I don't even think they tweeted about it, these ended up on their website. So like, it's it's a legit, like, there's the tight strap thingy, tie thingy, and everything in it, and like the dimples, and like it's just a very sturdy jersey, I think is the word that comes to mind.
Sturdy is the best way to put it, by the way. And by the way, you have a player number on the back of that.
I do. It's my perfect son, Tanner Pearson.
Tanner Pearson. Gotta love that. Yeah, that, oh my gosh, that is a freaking fantastic jersey. I think everyone watching this is insanely jealous of that jersey that you have. My God, that is beautiful.
Made in Canada.
Actually, that's a point that I want to talk about for a few minutes. So you just brought up that it's made in Canada, and you have a couple of made in Canada jerseys. Actually, 3 of them that I recall. You have that one on your hand, which, by the way, that is beautiful. Is the Pearson... Wait, what color is the Pearson nameplate?
The nameplate's red.
Nice.
And then, like, the numbers are outlined in, like, the rainbow. This would be, by the way, completely impossible to read.
Yes, it would.
In a game setting. Completely impossible.
But that is so gorgeous. Actually, can you show us the patch, like the shoulder patches really quick? Because those are intricate. Are those are stitched patches, aren't they?
I think so.
Yeah, they're not screened patches. Those are stitched.
Yeah, no, and they're stitched onto the jersey.
Oh my God. That is completely gorgeous. Yep, everyone should be jealous of that. Man. So you have that one. You have the I want to say it was the Sean Walker Pride jersey.
No, was it him or was it Matt Roy? No, I think it's Walker. The Sean. Yeah, Walker.
Sean
because
Walker.
It was really funny that I got to because the Kings played the Blackhawks on the Blackhawks Pride night, which I went to, and so I wore that jersey, but I thought it was very funny that he wasn't playing in the game because he was broken all year.
And one that I found for you at a garage sale, one of your favorite.
Hang on, like, I think you need to clarify what you mean by garage sale, because people are going to listen to this thinking that you like rolled up to, Bob Smith's garage sale on the street, which is not like, you didn't just roll up to like someone's moving sale in the Inland Empire and buy a jersey. Like you didn't.
Yeah, you're correct. So
just striving for the truth here.
Sarah Avampato, folks. So,
have you missed me? Been a while.
Ducks fans, have you missed her? Hey, Ducks fans, she'll be back for the holidays. That's guaranteed. We're not going to end that tradition. So, it was the LA Kings garage sale, which took place at a venue that I've worked at, Toyota Sports Complex, TSC, whatever they call it.
Center?
Toyota Sports Performance Center. That's what it's called now.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So the Kings had a garage sale there, and I got a text from Sarah saying, if you find a certain player, let me know. Like, if you find like certain things for like X, Y, and Z players, let me know. And one of your favorite players is Jeff Carter. And I happened to find something that I thought was really cool because you worked that game. It was the Stadium Series game in Colorado between the Kings and the Avalanche. You worked that game in the elevation. You saw those warm-ups. So when I told you that I found that, you were like, what? I think your first reaction was like, really? like you found that? And I was like, it's in my hands right now. I could get this right now. It's on your list. It checks off all the marks.
It sure did.
So, yeah, you actually have a specialty Jeff Carter, but that's special because that's an outdoor game, but that's one that you worked.
Yeah.
I mean, how special was that one?
Super special, especially considering that it was like the last normal thing anyone did for a long time.
Yeah, you're right. That was the last hockey game you worked before. I mean, an NHL game.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That seems like so long ago. By the way,
because it was 2+ years ago now.
I mean, time doesn't exist anyway anymore.
Fake.
Yeah, time's fake. But the quality of those made in Canada jerseys are a little bit different, and I actually have two examples of that, which you have seen, and I think you're going to enjoy this first example. So this is a Seattle Kraken jersey. It is an inaugural season Seattle Kraken jersey. Actually, you can't really see it here because it's too dark, but I do like this jersey a lot. Come on, the S pops. It's an amazing jersey for a plethora. Wow, what's the word?
Plethora.
Thank you.
You're
That's that word. Okay, so the dimples on this Blue Jackets jersey, love the cream color. So the dimples on this one aren't as protrusive. You know, there's like small dimples on this jersey. Like you could tell they're there, but you could barely feel them. You know, that's the made in Indonesia jerseys. These are the authentics that aren't really authentics, but they kind of are authentic because they still feel better than the Fanatics jersey.
Which, by the way, while we were doing things, I looked it up. You can go onto NHL.com in the shop. Fanatics jerseys, literally $170 and up.
170?
Yeah.
For Fanatics?
And like those are ones that have names on them. So I think if you get a blank one, it's going to be cheaper, but it's still 170.
That's disgusting.
The Adidas ones are like $250.
Yeah, I would pay the extra $80 to have a jersey that doesn't fall apart on me. In that case. So I do have a made in Canada jersey. This one doesn't have a name yet. But this one, you could see the dimples on this one. Like, you could tell by comparison between this one and the Blue Jackets jersey. Like, you could tell which one is authentic and which one is not. And it's really different in just like the overall quality. This one has a heavier feel. Yes, this is the Dia de los Muertos Patos de Anaheim jersey. Come on, this is the best jersey that the Ducks have ever had. I mean, that's completely biased. I mean, I love this jersey. I've worn it a couple. It's amazing, is what it is. Bring that one back for Dia de los Muertos night at the Ponda. So maybe whoever is the next manufacturer, maybe they'll kind of keep that in mind. Like maybe have not much of a difference between the ones made in Indonesia and the ones made in Canada. I mean, people like you and me and real hockey jersey collectors, they can tell that difference. And I mean, the dimples are the surefire. Like I saw on the Canucks, like I could see them through the camera pretty easily on there. You know, it's pretty obvious, right?
Yeah. And I think your average consumer like doesn't care. Like I think your average I feel like if you showed someone, if I handed someone a Fanatics jersey, a like regular Adidas one, and then the like made in Canada, like anyone's gonna be able to tell the difference. But I think your average fan who goes to a couple games and, you know, just wants to fit into like, I mean, I bought my first hockey jersey because I was going to go to a game and I didn't want to be the only weirdo without a jersey, you know, like there wasn't much thought into it other than that. I think, yeah, like your average fan will know the difference, but they're also going to be like, but I don't have $500 to spend. I have $170 to spend. So that's the one I'm getting. Then once you go too far down the rabbit hole, then you start getting snobby about it. And then you start losing money because you start buying a lot of things that maybe you shouldn't buy, but also you have poor impulse control and you just buy it anyway. Not that I speak from experience or anything.
Not that either of us speak from experience, because I know how we both are. And they look cool. So I mentioned a jersey, and this is going to go really personal here. This is like one of my grail jerseys that I found recently. Is the old school Vancouver Canucks. This is one of the cooler sweater. This is a sweater, by the way. This thing is heavy, but it's really cool. I mean, the Canucks have cool jerseys. I mean, you got me a Christmas gift, which I'll never forget. That one's amazing. And a couple more that I just kind of want to show off, and then we can talk about like our own collections. So there's a couple more that I really like. For those of you, oh, I have that one too. Two mini jerseys. Maybe I'll save it for like another day. So I do have another game used, Porter Wild jersey. I like this one a lot. But one of my favorite ones that I have, that I know you would love. Talk to me about RoboPen, because I know you have strong feelings about.
It's the jersey of my childhood. Like, just like Ducks fans want the like old-timey duck mask logo back because it's what they grew up with. I grew up outside of Pittsburgh in late 80s, early 90s, and the RoboPen was the jersey that I remembered most. So the fact that they continue to fail to put the RoboPen back on any merchandise, and therefore, like, I would give them so many dollars. We wouldn't even be having this, like, Fanatics versus, like, how Adidas versus look at how, like, if they put the RoboPen on a Fanatics jersey, I'm going to buy it, no complaints, no questions asked. Like, they stick that on anything, and I will give them my hard-earned dollars. Like, it's the nostalgia factor. Like, that, I mean, that's really it, of, like, it's what I grew up with. And, you know, that was the first hockey team that, like, I liked and, like, vaguely followed. And they should bring it back instead of doing the stupid word mark thing for the millionth time.
Wow, you have strong feelings on the word mark jersey.
It's so boring. It just says Pittsburgh. If I wanted a shirt that said Pittsburgh, I could, like, you know, make it myself.
So if they brought this back in a yellow base or a white base for the reverse retro, how fast would you buy that?
White, I'd have to think about. Yellow, okay. I mean, the problem is yellow's not, I say this wearing a yellow shirt, never mind. It's just so aggressively yellow, but I mean, at the end of the day, okay.
Well, so this is better than the Vegas gold they had for a few years.
Yeah, oh, I hated that color. That was terrible. So I don't have a Kings reverse retro jersey because I like dithered too long about whether I wanted to buy one or not, and then they all sold out. Yeah, and I like there would be a high, and like I really like the reverse retro jersey, and I just was too indecisive and didn't buy it. And so there would be a chance that same thing would happen with a revised RoboPen jersey if I would just spend too long debating my options, and then soon I would have no options because they all went away. But yeah, I like 70% chance I'd probably just slam that buy button.
So is this kind of your message to Pittsburgh? Like, if you're going to bring back a jersey, bring RoboPen back?
I will start a social media campaign. Sorry, whoever runs @Penguins on Twitter, but please.
Please do it.
Hear my cries.
Although I personally like this one the best because I love the gradient. To me, the gradient and the weird striping, it's so aggressively 90s that it's really cool. And most 90s stuff's coming back right now anyway.
Yeah, which is weird. Hate it.
You hate it?
Yes. Makes me feel ancient.
We're the same. How do you think I'm not going to finish either of those sentences? I'm just not. We look younger than we actually are. Let's put it that way. Yeah, let's go with that, right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, a lot of teams are going back to the 90s in general. Some better than others. Some should go back to the 90s. Ducks. You talked about wordmark jerseys. How about if they brought back that wordmark Anaheim Mighty Ducks jersey? The one that, like the black jersey that said Anaheim on it in cursive.
It's just so boring.
You're just anti-wordmark, aren't you?
Yes, it's boring. It's very hard to make it interesting. And no, like, I'm sure someone does, but overall, they're just dull. It's just a word. Like, that's not interesting to look at.
So you probably hate the New York Rangers jerseys.
The New York Rangers jerseys, there's definitely like very old Locked On Kings episodes where I talk about this. Like, my feeling about the Rangers jerseys, like, it has to be like the Stockholm syndrome of jerseys, because I actually really like the Rangers jerseys. It's one of the only word marks that I like, but I don't know if it's just because that's literally the only thing, aside from like their brief attempts to do the Lady Liberty jersey. Like, the Rangers have their brand, and they stick with it.
Yes.
And in terms of word marks, I don't hate it. Like, it is the Rangers, to the point where I feel like when you see them in something that is just a logo, it seems strange. That's not like, or a logo that's not their, like, the shield thing. Like,
right.
You know, if they stuck a weird bird on their jerseys or something, I'd be like, why are you messing with something that has existed for a bajillion years? Stop changing things.
And to go AHL before we wrap up, I think that's a reason why I like the old school goals jerseys, because that one is equatable to classic goals, but also that's the jersey that Willie O'Ree wore back in the 60s, 70s. It was that ocean blue with the goals word mark, but that one works. So, but the goals have a ton of great jerseys. The 80s, 90s jerseys are probably the best AHL jerseys ever. Let's be real here. But that word mark works because of the history behind it. And I think that works for certain teams. Now, say the Iowa Wild, the cream color jersey that just says Iowa on it. It's a lighter color, so you probably don't like that in general. I seem to recall that you weren't too fond of that Iowa Wild just plain word mark jersey. You're like, it's just boring.
Yes. I don't like the cream. The cream I actually don't mind. I feel like I could go for more cream colored jerseys, as long as you do it in a shade of cream that just doesn't make it look dirty. Because sometimes cream comes across, especially on like TV, as like you just did a bad job washing it. So I feel like there's a certain tint of cream that you need to go for before it tips too far over into like yellow, tan, brown. But like I don't hate the color. Again, it's just the like all block capital letters. Like, at least, like, I know I just ragged on the Ducks like one, but at least the cursive one was different and interesting. Like, I guess I pulled it up to look at it, so like I retract some of my angst towards it, because at least like it's different. It's not just like all block letters, 24-point font. Like, there's a little bit of creativity in it that other word marks aren't.
Yeah. If you're wondering, I'm looking back at this poster. So I actually have a poster of, all the hockey jerseys in history, like a lot of them. And I could see what you mean. Like, some of the cream colors just look yellow. They don't look good.
Yeah.
So I kind of see your point more and more for the Iowa Wild ones. Like that cream color is okay, but I could see where you could qualify as saying maybe it looks like a dirty cream, where it looks unwashed. So I do see your point there. All the jersey heads are going to love this episode, which will now be 2 parts. So any final jersey thoughts before we wrap up this talk?
Bring back the RoboPen. I will pay you. Please.
You'll pay for that jersey?
Yes.
Yeah. Bring back the gradients, and at Ducks, please bring back the old school jersey, but in a jade color. Just do it. It's right there. People will pay money for that. Just like people paid big money for the Kings reverse retro last season or 2 years ago, which arguably was one of the best ones in the league.
Really was.
Yeah, by the way, I think 2 other really good ones from that year as far as reverse retro.
Blasty.
What?
Blasty.
Blasty didn't make my top 5, but it was top 10 for sure. But that one's really good. Whoa, you disagree. top 5, top 3 for you, maybe?
I mean, the fact that I can hardly remember what any of them did, but Blasty sticks out very clearly in my mind, makes it at least top 5. Like, I remember the really, really good ones, like Blasty and the Kings, and the Nordiques one was neat, and the Whalers one was neat. And then I remember like the bad ones, like how the Oilers and the Islanders barely even tried.
The Red Wings.
The Red Wings just pulled out a practice jersey. Like, those are all bad. But yeah, no, Blasty, amazing.
Blasty was amazing. And you hit on another one that I loved. I love the Nordiques Colorado one because I thought that was the perfect way to do it in the same vein the Kings did it. You changed up the colors a little bit, but made it your own jersey, which I thought was the best way to go about it. That's why I liked Colorado's and LA's so much. Blasty's fantastic. The only thing I didn't like about it was almost the same jersey as the one from the 90s, just with a different sleeve. So that's why I knocked it out of my top 5. But I know Flames fans are going to come at me saying, like, what are you talking about? Blasty's awesome. They're going to come at me. I already know it. I'm sorry. But just because it's almost the same jersey, it's not top 5.
Just remember who on this episode really, really liked the Blasty jersey and who is sitting here saying that it could have been better. Just remember that.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying it could have been a little better. A little bit. Maybe they'll bring back Blasty in a red, which would be cool. My other favorite reverse retro, the Coyotes.
Oh, yeah.
The purple with the coyote head on that one.
Yes, that was really good.
You can't tell me that one wasn't a top 3.
Oh, no, that absolutely was.
Yeah. So, there you go. And honorable mention, by the way, to the Florida Panthers reverse retro. That one was amazing. And the Canadiens for going with the blue base for the first time ever. So, got to give my props there. And also, the Predators reverse retro, wasn't too fond of that one either. You know,
no recollection of it.
It was just a yellow base. It looked the same.
True.
Yeah. All right. So I think we've talked enough about jerseys for weeks. Sarah.
Yes.
You're no longer hosting Locked on Los Angeles Kings, but where can the fine folks find your work online? Where can they find you on the socials?
You can find me on Twitter at Right Said Sarah. It's WRITE said Sarah with an H, or if you're watching on YouTube, it's been down below my face the whole time. And I occasionally tweet thoughts from there and just sort of hang out and appear on people's podcasts and express opinions that people may or may not agree with. But just mostly find me on Twitter.
You have a Substack, which you've said you're going to try to get back to this year.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And Canes Country, right?
Yes. If for some reason you care about the Chicago Wolves, which you don't because you're Ducks fans, you can find... What? No Ducks fans have any reason? Like, Andrew Podorowski's not even there anymore. So, like...
I know.
Even like a connection. He went to freaking Seattle, so AKA probably Coachella Valley. Yeah, but yeah, if for some reason you want to care about that, you can find that on there.
Yep. And right now, Sarah's a free agent, so yeah, or she's just relaxing.
We'll write for money. There's the key though.
Yeah, for sure. Sarah, as always, thanks for coming on. I always appreciate it, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate you, the fans, for coming along and joining us on this magic carpet ride of Jersey Talk. And that was the Jasmine to my Aladdin. That was Sarah Avampato. And don't forget, this podcast is free and available. I'm going to fly along now. This podcast is free and available across all platforms. Why are you shaking your head? Including Stitcher, Spotify, Odyssey, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast. And from way up here, it's Crystal. I'm not going to sing anymore. Podbean, YouTube, check out Locked On Anaheim Ducks on there. If you, for some reason, want to email me and say, you're a terrible singer, never sing anymore, then you can email me at lockedonanaheimducks@gmail.com. Or maybe you like the singing. Maybe you like theater, and I don't know, I'll sing more show tunes or something. Maybe I'll throw in some Avenue Q in there. No, I shouldn't do that because this is not an R-rated podcast. No Avenue Q. But maybe I'll throw in some Hamilton or something. Anyway, Sarah, thanks so much again.
Toodles.
Really appreciate it. On behalf of Sarah and myself, for Locked On Anaheim Ducks, I'm Jason JD Hernandez saying have a great rest of the day. Please continue to be safe out there. Please be kind to one another. And Ducks, fly together. Quack, quack, quack. What did you say?
Caw.
Caca. Oh, goals. Caca, caca. Have a good one, everyone.